Hi Mark, thanks for your answer. I could go on for hours about each of them because obviously they failed to convince me when people presented me with them, and so I'm really glad your question was about morality because it's a topic I find fascinating. I'll summarise your question as, do I believe in either objective or subjective morality, and what implications does that have? Also, are lions murderers? First of all, I really don't like either the terms objective or subjective in reference to morality. Objective is often used to refer to some all-governing law, applicable in all situations, and somehow perfect. I find this carries a lot of divine connotations, so that arguing for it inevitably leads one to invent pseudo-divine concepts. God, if he existed, could not be the source of objective morality, if that existed, because if he is all-powerful he could simply change it, making it subjective, and if he couldn't change it, it can't come from him. So I find the whole idea a non-starter. Subjective, on the other hand, is too simplistic. It implies that everyone's opinion counts, and we can never say if something is right or wrong. This too is inadequate and really removes the idea of morality altogether. I tend to think of morality as constructed. Now you may tie this in with subjectivity, but let me explain using a slightly imperfect analogy in a field you are more familiar with: aeroplane design. One could, in theory, design an aeroplane however they liked. They could give it a great big spiked balls on the side, no wings, and make the engine pedal powered. All they have to do is slap the word aeroplane on it and argue their intention was to make an aeroplane. This is like subjective morality. But we all know it wouldn't fly because physics dictates that an aeroplane must have certain properties. But when designing an aeroplane, we also don't use some divinely inspired plans like an objective morality. We use designs and theories put forward by and perfected by humans. And whilst you and the designer next to you might design different aeroplanes which look different, they will still have the same basic concepts in mind and have to abide by certain rules. So it is with morality. We construct the best way to be moral as a society and spread these ideas. Some of these ideas, like stoning adulterers and condemning people for their sexuality, simply don't fly. Others, like granting individual liberty and getting informed consent for actions, do. But this begs the question of what are the rules and where are they from? Well, one rule would be not to hurt people. Why would we not want to hurt people? Well, we recognise that we hurt, and because we are social creatures, we can empathise with other individuals and notice that they hurt. Our biology can even force us into even more empathising by making us experience discomfort at the hurt, to the point where it can be painful to watch someone else in pain. So we can form a reciprocal relationship where we don't hurt them and they don't hurt us. This is common in many ethical systems, including the one put forward by Jesus. That's not to say that everyone always plays by this rule, far from it, and most situations are far more complicated, with multiple possible outcomes and possible future repercussions. But when constructing a meaningful morality system, it's important to have in mind. We've also got to bear in mind that sometimes while the actions are the same, it's the mental state of the recipient which affects whether it causes hurt or not. This is generally why most effective morality systems include the idea of consent. Sex with a consenting adult is a pleasuring event. Sex with an unconsenting adult is a deeply scarring and traumatic experience. Morality has to be tied to thinking individuals capable of making rational, informed decisions. That is why we don't call a boulder which crushes a family in a car an immoral rock. And with your lion going out hunting, it has no other option but to eat flesh and no concept of right or wrong as it sinks its teeth into a passing gazelle. As humans, we are lucky to have a large, complex cortex which lets us contemplate these things. We can see beyond the present and into the future outcomes of our choices. And with new technology, we are forever expanding the circle of people we care about. First, empathy was reserved for the tribe, then the clan, then the town, then the city, then the nation, and eventually we started to apply it to events thousands of miles away affecting people we've never met. Sorry if this has been a bit of a whistle-stop tour of morality, but it's very hard to encapsulate it all in 5 minutes. It's a fascinating subject, one of which requires our attention and our scientific and philosophical minds. As for veganism and vegetarianism, I would argue that because farm animals like chickens and cows have no concept of the future, each day is very much the same for them, and providing we treat them ethically when we kill them, I don't see a problem. However, there are a lot of humanists who vehemently disagree with me and who are strict vegetarians or vegans. For your question, I'd like to ask why you think people who were Christians and fully understood the message of Christianity as you do come to leave the religion. I look forward to your response.